This home that we're about to walk has a spiral staircase, which you see here. And then on the second floor, we have a media room, a game room, a sitting area, a second floor balcony that's ahead of us. And it all opens to the second story in the living room. Stay tuned for the rest. Hey everyone, Raj Sahu here. I'm a realtor in Central Texas, but you shouldn't always use me as a realtor. More on that a little bit later. Today we're going through the Sumara plan with Lennar Homes. This plan is over 4,600 square feet. It has 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. And as we walk in through the front door, you're hit with that same spiral staircase that we saw from the top floor, which we will get back up there. I'll show you that game room, media room, second floor balcony, all of that in detail. But first, I wanted to cover the study, which is here on the right side, and then we'll get to the rest of the main living area. So you come into the study, they have some good built-ins on the back wall, which most builders don't do, but as we always say when we're going through model homes, they're just giving you a taste of what's possible, some things that you might be able to do aftermarket. And then we have a tray ceiling here, and I'll give you a good look actually at the community. We're right now in a cul-de-sac, and as you'll see, there's lots of construction going on, lots of vehicles out working on these different homes. And we're gonna get into where we are in the community later on in the video. I just wanted to cover that study before we went out to the main living area because the builder agent uses that as their office. So if they did come back, obviously want to give them privacy. And even though there's a closet space in there, I do know some of these closets are being used to maybe house some material. So I did want to keep certain things private, but I am confident by the end of this video, you'll get a very good feel of this plan, including this main living area, which as you can see, it's a unique layout where they have the kitchen island, which is in a curved shape, where in front of us is this living room, and then on the sides is a breakfast nook on the right, dining room on the left. But I had to start here. Take a look at the living room with the tile above the fireplace running up to the ceiling, those very tall curtains, the ceiling design. This is what I think a living room is all about. Good amount of space, very tall windows. You even have sliding glass doors to our right, really opening up that patio space. And this is exactly why I wanted to come out to this community and feature this plan, because I felt like it was a unique layout, but still had a lot of features that people are looking for, like open to the second story in the living room, separate dining area with a wide open kitchen, and still open to that game room area, which we'll get to later on in the video. What we're gonna do now is take a look at the breakfast nook area, and then we'll head outside. I'll show you this big backyard. And while we go through this, I wanna focus in on the suburb that Lennar is building in, which is called Round Rock, Texas. It's a suburb just north of Austin, Texas. And the community that we're in is called Wyoming Springs. And this is a unique opportunity simply because the suburb of Round Rock has been built out for a few decades. Obviously, with most things around Austin, a lot of that growth was recent, but there's not a whole lot of land in Round Rock that can be bought out by builders, and then these master plan communities can come in. And while I'm struggling with this patio door, trying to unlock it and getting out here, what I will show you is, yes, we are backing up to a road. That is what this cul-de-sac does back up to. There are lots in this community that don't back up to a busy road. There are greenbelt lots, but what I want to focus in on is the location. As we're seeing right behind us, there's a crane right next to the St. David's Hospital here in Round Rock, and they're currently expanding it. St. David's, as of 2022, said they're investing about $1 billion in their hospital system in the Central Texas area, and that's because of all the growth that's happening in and around Austin. But in this area, you're so close to the highways, so you're minutes away from 45. 45 can get you to 183 if you go west. It can take you to I-35 if you go east. If you don't know anything about Austin, those two highway systems go north and south throughout Austin. So you can really get anywhere around the Austin metro area very quickly compared to other new build neighborhoods. The majority of new build neighborhoods that are around this area tend to be about 10 to 20 minutes north of this community in other suburbs like Leander, Liberty Hill, Georgetown, and they're great areas. You're just going to be further out. So if you value location, maybe you have a commute downtown, or you don't want to drive a lot if you're going to the Domain or going to any employer you can think of around Austin, then these are the areas that I would entertain. To be frank, there just aren't that many options for new build neighborhoods because Round Rock is more of an established suburb. It just doesn't have the land that other suburbs do, and that's why you're seeing limited options in this area, this being one of them. Getting back into the plan, I like this view from the kitchen island where you can just see out to everything, and there are windows everywhere. It's just fairly unique, I would say, with this kitchen island being in a curved shape, and the plan feels like it's more on like a diagonal. And I won't say that that's good or bad. Obviously, it's just personal preference. Let me know what you think on how you feel about this plan when you look out at this kitchen island and there are 3 different rooms within your site. Dining room on the left, like we said, living room with those tall ceilings in front of us, and then that breakfast nook area that we saw. Now, we will take a closer look at the dining room, and then I'll show you the rest of the first floor where we still have a second bedroom downstairs. We have a powder bath. We have this utility room that's right behind the kitchen, so I don't want to miss out on this. That doorway would go to your garage, and this has a 3-car garage where it's a 2-car garage and then a separate 1-car carriage garage. This would go to the 1-car. Okay, now we're gonna head over to the primary bedroom and bathroom, which is right ahead of us. In the primary bedroom, I like what they did here with a bay in the window, so it has that curve, 4 windows on that side, and I like how they put the curtains closer to the ceiling. It really makes that ceiling height feel that much bigger. What also helps is the tray ceiling that's in here as well, which I think is always great to have, especially in a bedroom you're gonna be using every single day, the primary bedroom. And while we head over to the windows, and you can see a good look at the backyard and kind of the road that is busy, I would say, behind this home. Let me know what you think about that. I've had somebody say, they grew up in a city, they really need to be around people, and they actually enjoyed the fact that there was, kind of a busy area behind their home. And then I've had people say the complete opposite and say they really want privacy, greenbelt, something like that. And that's a big turnoff for them. So let me know what you think. I feel like it's very polarizing from what I've heard, speaking with many buyers over the years. Getting to the primary bathroom, I like how they have this tile that went around the tub surround as well as the floor. You have this large window, which if a builder doesn't frost it for you, it's pretty easy to do that aftermarket. There's just a film that you put on there to give you a little bit of privacy. Obviously, they don't have that right now. It's a model home. Nobody's actually living in it. I like this wide open shower with the frameless glass, with the towel going all the way up to the ceiling, and the 3 different shower heads, 2 on either side, and that rain head. The frameless glass shower is what really opens up that space. It is an expensive upgrade, at least that's what I've seen working with 18 builders in the last 2 years, and my buyers tend to quote it out always at the design studio. So I've never seen it as like a cheap option, and I can't throw out numbers. It's going to be different with each builder, and then these prices change over time. But if you do call me, I'm happy to discuss what I've seen previously with costs with various builders, because it is different. Some builders are pretty expensive at design, others are much more tolerable, and your dollar goes very far. Happy to always advise for clients who work with me on that. Getting back into the plan, there are 2 closets in this primary bathroom. We saw one previously that was a little bit smaller than this one, which is very large. And I know it's tough to get a visual with nothing on the racks, or you can't really get depth perception, but always happy to give measurements of these things. If I can't actually get it from the builder, then it's pretty easy to just go through these model homes and take it from there. I don't like to give dimensions on these videos because these builders do change these plans over time, and when they do change, I don't want to take down these videos in the future, and that's why I just keep the dimensions off to the side. But if you do need these things, again, you can always reach out to me. Getting back over to the main living area, we have the dining room that we didn't cover previously, and this is a large area. This is an 8-seater table in front of us, as you can tell. I like the windows off that back wall. And it's a good room that still feels open to the rest of the main living area, but if you still want privacy or like an enclosed space, it still feels like that formal dining. And I like when dining rooms kind of give you that combination of both. Now, this is the confusing part. Their door in front of us just goes to a storage area, and then they have a piece of furniture in here. Let me know what you would put in here. I think when you use a lot of diagonals in your plan, there tends to be some dead space just because of the angles, and this would be that dead space. But I think everybody needs storage, and so instead of making it dead space, Lennar has a storage area in there. And at least what I'm seeing on the plan on their website right now they do have that as storage, and everybody needs storage, right? Especially a lot of people moving here from up north, and they have basements, and there aren't really basements here in Texas. They always get worried, where am I going to store my things? So it doesn't hurt to have an area like that. Getting back to the front door, you saw that spiral staircase. I love the ceiling design that they did there, which we'll see again when we get up to the second floor. Here they have a mud bench because that doorway on the right side would give us access to a 2-car garage. And remember, there was a separate 1-car carriage giving you a 3-car garage total. Now on this side, we have the second bedroom down. I had to think about it for a second because they have it staged as a study. Keep in mind, these builder agents use these model homes to sit down with people and kind of discuss options, and so they're using this bedroom as a study. But it does have an in-suite full bathroom, so if somebody was living in this home, I think for having guests over, or especially I always say to my videos, parents, that you don't want going up and down the steps, it's great to have a bedroom with an in-suite full bathroom. I like how they did the tile all the way up to the ceiling, still fit a window in there to give some natural light. And I didn't open the closet in here because if a builder agent's using this as office space, they might have some private materials in there, so I want to keep that private, but there would be a closet normally for, of course, a bedroom. And then just covering everything before we head upstairs, we just have this coat closet, which is right next to the front door and the garage entrance, so that makes sense. And then behind us, we have a powder bathroom, which is of course accessible from the hallway, so great for guests. And the bedroom that we saw previously, if you have a guest staying there, again, they don't have to use it. They would have that in-suite full bathroom, which was separate from this powder bathroom. Okay, I'm excited to show you the second floor because again, it's unique, and I think a layout like this, you get a little bit more space upstairs while still getting open to the second story in the living room. And that doesn't always coincide. Sometimes you sacrifice your second floor space when you have that open to the second story in a living room. Here, I think you'll have a lot of space. Here's a good look at the Wyoming Springs community. There's a lot of dirt around because this is what new construction neighborhoods look like. There's a lot of new builds going on. The good news is when a home closes, there tends to be a lot of people moving in either before or after that person, just because in this market, which is still relatively good, meaning there's still a lot of people moving to Austin, so a lot of sales being made from these builders, that's good. You don't want dirt sitting around you for a while, otherwise you're going to have a constant state of new construction around you. And so a lot of those homes being constructed around the same time is definitely a good thing. Here in the game room, I love this fancy ping pong table that they have. Really gives you a perspective on how deep this game room is, and they even have a sitting area in the back, which I think is great. And then here's another look at the living room, which, as we said, was open to the second story. Again, I love those curtains. I don't think I showed it previously, but all the pictures on the left wall is a good design item, which I wouldn't think of. I would never put that many pictures on my wall, but I'm also not great at interior design, and this is why I like walking through model homes to get inspiration. When I was in this home, my eyes kept getting drawn upward, mostly because of the curtains that were there, as well as the pictures. And then you saw a wet bar in that game room, which is right off of this media room. I like the layout that they have in here, where it's always difficult, I think, where to put furniture in a media room is something that a lot of people debate. But I like what they did here. If you're trying to get 2 rows of seating, you have that L-shaped couch in front of you, so it still gives you a way to walk around it from the double doors coming in. And then you have this couch that runs on the back wall, which you can do because there really aren't windows there. And I think that was a good setup. You could definitely fit a lot of people in there comfortably. And then we'll get to the second floor balcony. Before we get there, we have this sitting area in the back, which I think is great to have. A sitting area like this with lots of windows around you. Let me know how you would use this space. I really like it because when my family gets together for Thanksgiving or the holidays, we tend to play a lot of board games like Settlers of Catan or your classic Monopoly, and it's always fun to see a space like that because that's how I would definitely enjoy it with my family. But again, let me know what you would do. Heading out to the second floor balcony here, this is a good look at the lot as well as that hospital that was in the back. Again, the roadway is there, but there are lots that if you don't like a roadway behind you, you want greenery, or sometimes there are lots that just back up to other neighbors. There are certainly opportunities like that, but just take it in and really get an idea on the plan, because that's really what we're looking at. And that's the beauty of working with a production home builder, is that you can identify a good plan that you really like, and then you can always find the lot later. In fact, that's exactly what I tell all my buyers that work with me hand in hand. A lot of my buyers reach out to me through YouTube. They tend to be out of state, and that's why they're watching these videos on YouTube. They're interested in moving to Austin. And what I do is before they fly into Austin, I build out a buyer board that they can access virtually and see these different plans that fit their criteria, hear about different communities that make sense for them. And while we go through these 2 bedrooms, I'll just finish my thought here. The strategy is very simple. Get a feel of what you like or don't like about your home and your location, and try to narrow things down so that when you come to Austin, you're not running around at 20 or 30 different communities and all these different builders. That can be very confusing. We have a much more focused list to work off of because we did some due diligence virtually. Now, when my clients are here, we do walk through homes, but we really hone in on communities, because I can't give you a feel virtually of a community while you're out of state. I think that's what you really want to, fly here and drive around and have lunch in an area. I'll obviously do that with my clients, but to do that virtually is very difficult to do. I can't enjoy an area for you. I think that's where these videos are helpful in identifying the floor plans, but we prioritize communities first, then the plan, and then the lot is very simple. Usually it's pretty easy to narrow down the lots to 2 lots, maybe 3. And even for a lot of my buyers that end up flying back home and we don't get a chance to look at lots, by the time they narrow things down, I can take a video of the lots, and that's much easier to go through while people are out of state, because those lots tend to be areas that we've already driven around, so they have an idea where they're at, and then the exact lot, it's pretty easy to do a video on that, and I've done that a lot for my out-of-state buyers especially. Getting back into the plan, we had a bedroom with an in-suite full bathroom. This bedroom does have a full bathroom that's accessible from the hallway outside of it. And while we go through this, I did want to clarify something I said at the beginning of the video, which is don't always work with me as a realtor. And if you've watched my previous videos, you've heard me say this before, and I'm going to keep saying it because it is working really well. If you're new to the channel, you haven't heard me say this, it's very simple. When people reach out to me, I identify what their criteria is for their home and their location, and then I determine who is the best realtor for them. For example, I just had a listing contract just under $1 million in a neighborhood that another realtor was doing a good amount of volume in, so I'd referred it to that other realtor, and now they're under contract. And that's what I tend to do. That listing is not something I want to take on because I'm more focused on representing buyers and looking at newer homes and new construction homes specifically, where I've worked with 18 builders just in the last 2 years. So if you're interested in newer types of homes, reach out to me. My information's in the description of this video. And as you can tell, I'll be very straightforward and upfront with